Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Jess, welcome. So in my book haul video that I posted back in June, I had mentioned that I wanted to make some changes to my shelves to make space for all of the books that I showed in that haul. And so that is what I'm going to be doing in today's video. And as you can see behind me, I am starting with a clean slate. I dusted off all the shelves, so I'm pretty much ready to start putting things back on them. But in case you didn't see what the decor placement looked like before, all of my books were consolidated to the center bookcase, and the other two primarily had non-book related items. This time around, I want to swap the whole concept and have cuter displays for certain book series in my collection. So with all that said, if you're interested in seeing how I decorate my bookcases, then grab a snack, grab a drink, which speaking of drink, I'm actually really craving a boba. Like a boba sounds so good right now. Should we go get a boba? Let's go get a boba. Okay, so now that we have something to sip on, let's jump into the video. So this is our starting point. Also, I did put my hair up because I knew it would get overstimulating and overwhelming once I started working, and so I put it up in this little half up, half down with this bow that I think is so cute. It matches my top. The printer down here is gonna have to stay along with this black box because that box is actually hiding all the cables. In there is the power strip as well as the cord that is powering the printer. And because the wall outlet is directly behind there, that's where it's gonna have to stay. So unfortunately, this is gonna stay the way it is, although I will be adding some decor to that area. Also, I did kind of play around in Canva and kind of brainstormed how I want to set up the shelves. So because I did kind of come up with a mock-up of what it's going to look like, I feel like I'm going to be able to work more efficiently. So with that said, I think I am going to be starting bookcase by bookcase. So we're going to be working vertically all the way across the shelves. So let's jump into it. I am so excited. I have a vision and I just hope that I can really bring this vision to life. So let's see if I can achieve it. So this shelf is pretty much staying the exact same. If anything, I've just compiled all of the little rocks that I own and put them inside of this little container. That's everything that's on this shelf, just this basket that has all of my cables like chargers and whatnot. This faux plant that I got from Olive in June. Forever ago, they sent it to me in a PR package like 2 years ago. And it's stunning. I love it. It's inside of this vase from IKEA that I got ages ago. And then I just have this faux plant with a little pot that I got from the thrift store. So that's all that's gonna go on this shelf. So on this next shelf, I'm just gonna line up books like normal, the way that you would find them in a library. This shelf doesn't really have a theme either. It's more so just like random books that I could fit onto this shelf. So here's the shelf complete. Like I said, there's not really a theme with this shelf. It is a mix of romantasy, there's romance, there's historical fiction, there are a couple of thrillers in here as well. And fun fact, this book right here, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, was actually the very first fiction novel that I read as an adult, and it is what got me back into reading. I am just so grateful for this book. It was so fascinating, so interesting. I remember I was like blown away by how good this book was. And it is what started my whole reading journey. So this book holds a very, very special place in my heart. Which another fun fact, the second author I ever read as an adult was Colleen Hoover. And this book of hers, Verity, is by far my favorite. I do know that they're coming out with a movie for this book. And I think it's going to be released either March or May of next year. And I'm so excited because this book was so good. So on the shelf right here, I want to put the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. So the way my shelves were decorated before, that series had its own dedicated shelf, but it was all the way up at the top. And I want to move it down to where it's at eye level because that is top 5 series, hands down. It is so good. It's enemies to lovers. It has dragons, fantasy world with magic. It has a badass FMC. If you've never read the Fourth Wing series or the Empyrean series, you need to. Trust. So let's go ahead and set it up. I like this setup so much more than how it was before. I do wish that I had a little something extra to put like right here. I feel like this space is a little empty, but perhaps in the future I can find something for this shelf that correlates or like relates to the series. Also on Amazon, I got these little stands. And these are amazing. I actually got recommended these by Yana on TikTok. These just help to keep your books upright. That way I don't have to worry about them falling over or anything like that. They're nice and secure and just stay exactly where I place them. So in my mock-up, I wanted there to be an area for all of my cowboy romance book series. And so I think that this is where I'm going to be placing those books. I also found the cutest little decor piece from Walmart that is just going to fit the theme perfectly. So let's set it up. I fear this might be my favorite bookshelf so far. This one is so freaking adorable. So this book series right here, the Rebel Blue Ranch series, I actually haven't even read all of it. I've only read the very first book, which is this one back here, Done and Dusted. But I really love the cover art on these books, which is why I put them up on display. And I don't have them in chronological order. I simply put them in the order that was my favorite. But I love the pastel colors of these books. I have read all of these except for Hopeless. That's the only one that I have yet to read. And I also still need to get the rest of the books from this series, but I'll be doing that at a later date. But don't you think that this little boot is just perfect? I saw it at Walmart like a few months ago and I was like, I need that for when I do my Cowboy Romance series shelf because I knew I wanted to do it. I just knew it. I just didn't know when, but I'm so glad that I finally got around to it. And then these little Lego flowers I built a few months ago and I think they're so cute and they just kind of fit this space. They fill up the height of this shelf as well perfectly. And so yeah, that is this shelf. Definitely my favorite right now. So let's move on. So this bookshelf right here is going to hold primarily my seasonal books, as well as all of the Colleen Hoover books that I purchased from when I started my reading journey. So since I don't have a ton of seasonal reads in this area, I am just going to lay these flat so that I can put some decor on top of these books. And so the first thing that I want to add on here is a plant, just to bring a little bit more life to the shelves. So I have this one right here. This one used to be on the shelf with the Empyrean series, but now that that shelf doesn't really fit this plant, I feel like it perfectly fits right here. And then right next to that, I'm going to add this little crocheted bunny that I bought from a farmer's market. This lovely girl was selling them and I bought this one and a little octopus that I have inside my car. I think they're both so freaking adorable and they're so soft and squishy as well. Then I'm going to finish off this bookshelf by adding a LED candle and this little figurine. So this shelf right here is going to have a mix of stationery items, books, and a box where I store extra sunglasses. So that is the very first bookcase done. And honestly, I am obsessed with the way it looks. I think it looks amazing. It looks so much better than what I had envisioned. And this is just the first one. I also feel like the books look better this way. Not that there is anything wrong with them all being like this, the way it was before. But with this, I love how they're on display. I love being able to add additional decor as well. This next shelf is going to be all of the non-related book items. So I am going to speed through this part because there's really nothing new that's being added to the shelves that wasn't already on the shelves previously. It's just more so they're going to be arranged differently. So let's go ahead and jump into this so then we can jump into the books on this side because that's what I'm most excited about. I don't know about you, but that's what I'm most excited about. Bookcase number 2 is complete, and this again houses all of my non-book related items. Although I do have some books right here, majority of these are just solely for decor purposes. There's maybe like 4 books in here that I would read, and the rest of them are just for decor purposes. Same goes for the very bottom shelf. One of those books I did read, which was Atomic Habits, The Fault in Our Stars. I haven't read the book, but I've seen the movie, loved the movie. We'll probably read that book eventually. And then the very last book is just for decor purposes. So now it is time to decorate this shelf right here. And I want to mirror what I did on this shelf because I like the idea of symmetry and balance. And so I want to basically set it up very similar. on this side. So let's get into it. So this shelf here at the very top is going to stay exactly how it was previously, so nothing new here. So this shelf specifically is going to hold all of my romantasy series, and a lot of these are actually some of my favorites. So here's the shelf complete, and I've got to admit, I like the way that this looks more than the shelf that is opposite of it, and I think it's just because of the fact that all of these books are within the same genre, and so they have very similar look to them. Like, they have the darker spines. I mean, apart from this series right here, but it's fine. I don't mind it. But just knowing that they are all romantasy, just, you know, it just makes my little type A brain happy. As where the other shelf, like I said, it's an array of different genres all put together into one shelf. But, you know, it's fine. I still like the way that it looks. I just like how this one looks a little better. So you know how I just said a few minutes ago that I wanted this shelf to be a mirror of everything happening over on this one? Well, I lied. I just double checked my little digital rendering, and this shelf is not going to look similar to the Fourth Wing shelf. It is going to be different, but it's still going to be cute. So on this shelf, I'm going to be putting my God tier series and one book that isn't God tier, but it is 5 stars. So it is going to live on this shelf. It's just kind of big and doesn't really have anywhere else to go. So it's just going to live here for now. So these two series right here are my God tier series. We have Akatar, which is my #1 baby. I love this series with all my heart. It is what got me into fantasy, and I have been obsessed ever since. And then this one is the Boys of Tommen series, which, as traumatic and as difficult as these books are to read, these characters live in my mind rent-free. Like, I have never felt so much from a book series as I have when reading these books. It needs to be studied because it's insane. Then I have Quicksilver, which is a 5-star book, or maybe I rated it 4.5. Maybe 4.5, but it was still really good. No shade, Kingfisher. Love you, but you're not quite a God tier book. So to hold down this book right here, because this cover does tend to lift up a little bit and I don't like that. So in order to keep it flat, I'm going to add these 2 coasters. This first one says, High Lady of a Court of Smut and Wingspan. I think it's so funny. And then this next one says, Surreal Tea Co., the hottest tea in Prithian. I really like the design on this one, and I wish I could place it vertically. That way I could see it, but I have nothing to hold it up. Maybe if I look through some of my things, I might be able to find something that I can place behind here in order to hold it up so that I can see it. Maybe we can try and look for something here in a second. And so now this little empty space right here is going to be where I store all of my little Akatar trinkets. So here's what the shelf is looking like with the coasters flat on top of the books. And I do like that it is a little stealthy. Like, you can't even really see that they're there. But like I said, I do really like this design, and I would like to be able to display it. What do you guys think? Does it look better flat? Or does it look better with this elevated? For now, I want to continue because I'm so excited to see what this is going to look like when it is complete. So we will come back to that later. So on this next shelf, I'm going to place the Stephanie Garber books that I have. The Once Upon a Broken Heart series is in my top 5, and so I'm going to do a little dedicated moment for that series. This is looking so good already. I am going to add just a little bit extra. I'm going to add this super cute croissant that I got from my little sister. This doesn't really have any correlation with the series. I just put it here because I didn't really have anywhere else to put it, and also I like that it matches the pink on the flowers. In the book haul video that I was talking about at the beginning of this video, I shared this little fox because for quite some time I'd been looking for a plushie fox to represent Evangeline, because if you read this series, this isn't a spoiler by the way, but if you've read the series, then you know that Jax likes to call Evangeline Little Fox. And so that is why I got this, just because it just, you know, it represents the series and I think it's so adorable. It's such a cute nickname. And so I grabbed this little guy, and I had nowhere to place him before because the shelves were just like fully jam-packed and there was no place for me to be able to display it in a cute way. And so now he can live right here, and it just looks so stinking cute. But to really complete this shelf, in my opinion, what better way to finish off than by adding an apple? And for this apple, I've searched so many places. I tried finding one in person, and I couldn't find one until I just stumbled upon this one on Amazon. And it is actually a paperweight, and it's this one. It's made out of glass. It's so beautiful. And I thought that this was perfect to represent Jax because he's always eating apples. And so that is why I got this. I just feel like the apple and the fox together is just very them. I feel like this is going to be the perfect finishing touch for this shelf. Oh yeah, getting this little apple was definitely the move. It looks so good all together. And my little Lego flowers that I built, I added to this shelf as well to be able to mirror the Legos that are on the opposite shelf where the Cowboy Romance series is. So I feel like both of them just tie together. And I just took this one out of the set and put it right here because I just feel like I needed a little something to fill this space. And I just feel like this little rose is perfect. So yeah, that is this entire section, again, dedicated to Stephanie Garber and this 5-star series that I love. So this shelf is actually going to be the final shelf that stores all of my fiction books. So because of that, these books are also kind of a mix of just books that didn't fit anywhere else. I got this little trunk from L'Occitane in a PR package, and I think it's so cute. I couldn't justify throwing it in the trash. And so I am setting it up here as decor. So here is this bookshelf done, and I do like the way that it looks. I feel like this little box kind of replicates the stack of books that is on the opposite shelf, so it does kind of add that symmetry that I was looking for. Also, if you're curious as to why some of these books are flipped around, is because any books that I have not read yet, I flip. Although there are a few that I probably should flip, like the Hopeless one, but I just feel like it would ruin the vibe of the Chestnut Spring series stack. So I'll leave that one unflipped for now, but some of these I have not read. Like this one, I believe is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I've heard amazing things about this book, and I started reading it like 2 years ago, I think. And for some reason, I DNF'd it. I don't know why, and I need to jump back into it and see what it is all about. So that leaves us with this very last shelf where my printer is. So on this shelf, it's mostly already all taken up. There's just this little section right here that is available really for like decor. So I'm going to just put some magazines and coloring books that I truly have nowhere else to place. So this spot couldn't have been more perfect. Now to add a little something to the printer, because I just don't like how stark white this is. I have this magazine that I got when I went to Fredericksburg, and Fredericksburg is so pretty. It's like the hill country of Texas, and I loved it. It was such a good time. I really loved the illustration on this magazine cover, and so I'm going to place it right here on top of the printer just to add a pop of color where all this white empty space is. And I also feel like the art from this magazine cover kind of ties into the art on the cover of the Rebel Blue Ranch series. So that, you guys, wraps up the end of this video. I am truly so blown away by how this looks. This looks 1,000 times better than how it did before. I feel like before the primary focus was just like random little knickknacks and decor pieces, and now the primary focus are all the books on the shelves, which is what I wanted from the very beginning. Like when I first set up these shelves, that's what I wanted. I wanted the books to be the main focus, and it kind of just all got lost with other little knickknacks. And so I prefer this setup so much better over what was here before. So I am happy to report that the vision that I had in my head and digitally did come to life. I love this, and now when I walk into my room, I can just really appreciate all of the books that are on this shelf because they are just displayed so much more beautifully now. Like so many of these shelves I'm just in awe of, and I love so much. If you've made it to this part of the video, comment down below a book emoji. Any book emoji will work. And if you did enjoy watching, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell. That way you are notified every time I upload a brand new video. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I'll be seeing you in my next one. Bye.